بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Inshallah, tonight we're going to continue the classes of the Tajweed. In the previous dars, we talked about المبادئ العشرة, the 10 basic information that we have to know about any field of knowledge in Islam. Okay, so number one we said تعريفه, how to define علم التجويد. In the Arabic language, التجويد is التحسين, to make something better. And then in the علماء التجويد, what tajweed means, to pronounce any letter from its source and then you give it its attributes, the صفات and the صفات of the حروف, the attributes of the حروف. And then we say what حكم التجويد, العمل به, العلم به فرض كفاية, to learn it is فرض كفاية, meaning that if some group of Muslims learn it, so the other men in Ummah are not sinful. But العمل به, to act upon the tajweed, when you recite in the Quran, that is فرض عين, is wajib upon everybody. And what we mean by that is not that everybody has to recite the same way a Sheikh Sudais is reading or a Sheikh Abdul Basit Abdul Samad. We mean that everybody to do his or her best to practice whatever they know of أحكام التجويد. So that's حكم التجويد. So you cannot read the Quran as you read in any regular book. You must apply أحكام التلاوة. Whenever you read the Quran, you have to respect the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to read the Quran properly. موضوعه, where do we apply the tajweed? In the Quran only. So the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we can't say to read the hadith you have to apply the tajweed. So you make the tajweed when you read the hadith. No, it's only in the Quran. Okay? When we read any other book, we don't have to make to apply ahkam al-tajweed in the rules of the tajweed. And then fa'idatuhu, the benefit of this ilm, that you get the happiness of this life and the happiness of the hereafter. And then what is the purpose of علم التجويد? صون اللسان عن اللحن في كلام الله تعالى, to protect your tongue from making mistakes in the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran. Today, inshallah, tonight, we're going to learn something important, something that's a part of the qira'ah, something that's easy to understand. Anybody can understand this. So tonight's class is very easy and simple. We're going to talk about maratib al-qira'ah. Maratib al-qira'ah, the level of the qira'ah. The levels of the qira'ah. When anyone recites, there are certain levels. What we are talking about, we're talking about the speed of the qira'ah. Okay? The speed of the qira'ah. When you read in the Quran, anybody has certain way of reading it, and your speed is going to be different from my speed. Okay, which speed is acceptable when you read the Quran? That's very important to know, because we have some people reading the Quran, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Malik Yawmiddin. Is that acceptable? That's not acceptable. Okay, we have some people that read very slowly. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Is that acceptable? It's acceptable. But we don't read anywhere. So we don't do that in the Salah. So we're going to learn the maratib al-qira'ah, the different types of the speed when you read in the Quran, in each speed, in what situation you should read with this speed or with the other speed. Do you understand the topic of the dars? We're talking about the speed of the qira'ah. How fast you should go when you read in the Quran, and how slow you should go when you read in the Quran. That's the dars. Okay, it's important. Some people may think it's not important. No, it's important. We have to know the proper speed, how you should read. When you drive in a car, can you just drive with any speed? No, you have to follow the rules. So you cannot be in the highway driving 20 miles per hour. You're going to cause an accident. You have to drive faster, right? And when you're in the neighborhood, you're not going to be driving 60 miles per hour. You have to slow down, 25 to 30. Depends on the rules. Okay? So same thing in the Quran also. When you read in the Quran, you have to follow a certain speed based on the situation. The first type of, or the first martaba of the qira'ah is at-tahqiq. What does that mean, at-tahqiq? Is that you read the Quran very slowly and clearly. Okay, how is that? An example of such recitation is to read Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Very slow. The letters are clear, the harakat are clear, the mad is clear, and anybody can listen to what you are saying, and anybody can identify the difference of the letters and the difference of the pronunciation. Okay, it's beautiful to read in that way. But we don't read that in the salat. We only do that in maqam al-ta'lim, as the muallif said. وهو القراءة بتؤدة وطمئنان. No. Okay, I jumped to the second one. Okay, anyway, we can take it as the first one. Tahqiq. The very slow recitation. You read very, very slowly. Okay? Such type of recitation is good for what? For teaching. Okay? It's good for teaching. So, when you come to me, you want to learn the Tajweed, you want to learn the Quran, I'm not going to teach you Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. You will not understand whatever I'm saying. You're going to say, it's too fast, you have to slow down. So when you're teaching someone the Quran, what martaba you should use to teach that person is at-tahqiq, that you read very slowly. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Very slow. Okay? Who can give me an example of this martaba? Who can read in this speed? Yes, Abu Bakr. No. Who can practice that? Can anyone volunteer or read out loud? Yes, Amir.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Excellent.
Ar-Rahmanir Rahim.
MashaAllah. That's at-tahqiq. Who else can do that? Simple. Abu Bakr.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
It's a little faster. Slow down. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. MashaAllah. That's beautiful. Who can try? Okay. MashaAllah. Excellent. So everybody understands that tahqiq, very easy, is that to read very slowly. Okay? When do you use this type of recitation, this type of speed, this martaba? When you are teaching someone else. You're teaching your son, your daughter, your wife, your brother, anyone who is a student of yours. So this is the way that you should teach that person, very slowly. Okay, and this is one of the biggest mistakes that parents make when they teach their children, and then the kid is not able to recite properly. The kid just read quickly, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, and he does not pronounce some letters correctly. Why? Because the father or the mother or whoever taught them in a very fast way. No, when they learn it, they should read very slowly. So when you teach them, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, they can repeat after you easily and simply. Okay? So that's at-tahqiq. We understand that? Okay. The next martaba is at-tartil. At-tartil. It is the same thing, but it's a little faster. Okay? You read slowly. هو القراءة بتؤدى وطمئنان. That you read with tranquility, that you read with very slowly, and then, but it's not slow as at-tahqiq, it's a little faster, and you make sure that you give any letter حقه ومستحقه, the صفات and the attributes of the letter. So if the tahqiq is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, the tartil is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. You notice the difference? It's a little faster. Okay? It's a little faster. So at-tahqiq again is الحمد لله رب العالمين. The tartil is الحمد لله رب العالمين. Okay, so that's the tartil. When should we read the Quran with the tartil? In the salat, in always. Okay, whenever you read the Quran, you should read it with the tartil. Okay, and in the salat, strictly salatul mafruḍah, the mandatory prayers, Fajr, Maghrib, and Isha, not in salatul tarawih. In salatul tarawih, we're gonna learn something called al-hadr, which is faster. Okay, so at-tartil, and it's the best type of the best speed among all of them, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said وَرَتَّلْنَاهُ تَرْتِيلًا. So that's mentioned in the Quran. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. And this is how I always read in the salat. Salatul mafruḍah. But not in salatul tarawih, nor in salatul qiyam. If you do that, no one will come to the masjid. The imam is reading too slow and the salah is too long. No one will come to the masjid. So that's why you see in most of the masajid, people read a little faster with al-hadr. And I'm going to explain what al-hadr means. Okay? But when you are in a place where people are patient, people like the salat, people are not lazy, you can read the tartil and salatul tarawih. What is the problem? That's the beauty of the Quran, that you read the Quran slowly and everybody enjoys the Quran. That's how the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was reading and leading the salat. So this is how it's supposed to be. Salatul tarawih this way. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Slowly. We enjoy the Quran, we enjoy the recitation, and we're not in a hurry, because the salat is what we have to do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The salat is what getting us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is how it's supposed to be. But unfortunately, nowadays, people are not patient and people are lazy. They just want to finish the salat. Then when they finish the salat, where do they go? To the Dunkin' Donuts. Right? We're busy, we have to work, we have a lot of responsibilities, we have this and this and this and that. You finish the salat, they're outside talking for 15 to 20 minutes. Go to Dunkin' Donuts, the whole masjid is there. Right? So, anyway, this type of recitation, the tartil, we should read it in the obligatory salat, al-fajr, al-maghrib, and al-isha, because the recitation is always short. The imam doesn't read more than a page, and the salat doesn't take more than 12 minutes to 15 minutes. So the tartil is the best qira'ah to use for the recitation in general when you read the Quran. Because a lot of times people read the Quran with the speed, because this way the Quran is just becoming, as you read in any book, or you read in something that is not the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you're reading very quickly, what is the point of the qira'ah? The point of the qira'ah is the Quran to change you, to enjoy the Quran, to pay attention to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. And also if you can combine that with the tafsir, you learn what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, is going to be more beneficial for you. But unfortunately people do not do that. They just want to read the Quran quickly. And unfortunately, even some madaris, some schools of Quran, that's how they teach people. They read quickly. But that's not how we should be reading the Quran. Okay, so we understand what is at-tahqiq, then at-tartil, and now we're going to go to at-tadweer. At-tadweer is the third level of the qira'ah. It's faster than the tartil. Okay, so the tahqiq is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Okay, and the tartil is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Okay, then the tadweer Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. It's a little faster. Okay, the tadweer. At-tadweer bil-ra. Okay, so that's the third speed in the qira'ah. Okay, at-tadweer. And then the last one is al-hadr, which is you read the Quran in a very, alaykum as-salam. You read the Quran, you read the ayat, going fast. You are fast, but you are applying all of the ahkam. How is that? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. I'm very fast, but at the same time, I'm not ignoring or neglecting the ahkam of the tajweed. Okay? Alif Lam Mim. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون. Notice I say Alif La. I didn't say Alif Lam Mim. Because some people, when they do the hadr, they neglect most of the ahkam. Alif Lam Mim. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين. No, that's not hadr. Hadr, you go fast, but you apply all of the ahkam of the tajweed. You're not going to be able to do this as a beginner. As you read the Quran more, as you learn the Quran more, as you become more experienced in the recitation of the Quran, you're going to be able to master these skills. That you go fast and also give the ahkam their rights. That you apply in the ahkam and you read in with the speed. Okay? Al-Hadr. When we should read Qira'atul Hadr? The fast Qira'ah. In Salatul Taraweeh, Salatul Qiyam. Let's say we are doing the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, reading Surah Al-A'raf in Salatul Maghrib. The Prophet once did it. Surah Al-A'raf. You know, it's like more than juz and a half, almost two ajza in Salatul Maghrib. More than more than what we read in Salatul Taraweeh. Surah Al-A'raf. Even in Salatul Taraweeh, we don't read Surah Al-A'raf, all of it. We read maybe half, not even half of it, maybe a third of it. But the Prophet, once he read Surah Al-A'raf in Salatul Maghrib. So if you are to practice this sunnah, you read in Surah Al-A'raf in Salatul Maghrib, it should be in Hadr. And also, let's say you doing the sunnah of reading Surah Al-Sajdah in Surah Al-Insan in Salatul Fajr, Yawm Al-Jumu'ah. Right? The Prophet, that what he was reading in Salatul Jumu'ah, in Salatul Fajr, Yawm Al-Jumu'ah. Surah Al-Sajdah, 3 pages, and then Surah Al-Insan, 2 pages. Okay, so this is how we should read. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا إنا خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا. Notice, I'm not saying إنا هدي, applying the ghunna and applying the mad in everything. So that's how Qira'atul Hadr should be. As I said in the beginning, that the Hadr, you cannot master the Hadr easily. You have to be experienced and you have to learn the Quran and spend some time with the Quran, and then inshallah you're going to reach the level of being able to control the ahkam of the tajweed, and at the same time you control the speed, meaning that you go so fast. So that's the dars for tonight. Don't be confused with something also considered when we say maratib al-qira'ah, people may think we're talking about maqamat al-qira'ah. There's something called maqamat in the recitation. What does that mean? Al-maqamat is different than the maratib al-qira'ah, the speed of the qira'ah. The maqamat is the tone of the recitation. Don't you notice the difference between a Shaykh al-Sudais and a Shaykh al-Shirim and a Shaykh Mashar al-Ifasi, or the same Shaykh Mashar al-Ifasi, he reads in different styles? I'm not talking about the qira'at, warsh, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the tone, the voice. It changes. An example. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Notice. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. There's a difference between the first one and the second one, the way it sounds. And also you can say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Or you can say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. It's a different way of reciting the same thing, but you are reading the Quran in a different tone. We're not talking about the speed. Okay? So this is something that's beyond the level of this class. We're not going to discuss that. Okay? Because al-maqamat in the qira'ah, you should not learn this until you master ahkam al-tajweed. Okay? When you are good in the tajweed, you know how to pronounce the words correctly, you know how to read properly, then you can learn al-maqamat and pay attention more to the tone, to the voice, and how the qira'ah should sound, and how you can change that. You know, you can learn that. That's a separate topic that beginners should not be paying attention to. Just try to listen to the sheikh that you like his recitation and try to imitate the way he's reciting. Okay? Once you master that, you have a beautiful voice in one tone, so then you can learn other tones of the qira'ah. Okay? So that's beyond the level of this class. But what we want to learn tonight is that we have different speed, okay? When you read the Quran, we have the tahqiq, the one that's very slow. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. This one we call it what? At-tahqiq. At-tahqiq. Okay? So this is the first one. When we should use this speed when we are teaching someone else. Whenever you're teaching someone, it's important to teach them very slowly. Teaching your son, your daughter, your wife, whoever you are teaching, teach them in a very slow speed, so they can pick up what you are saying and they can learn from you. Okay? And not just in the Quran, anything, even in math. If you're teaching someone math, you're speaking so fast, they will never get it. You have to speak slowly and do the formula and do the practices on the board slowly, so they can catch up with you and understand what you're saying. So same thing in the Quran. When you're teaching someone, you have to go very slowly. Okay, that's at-tahqiq. The second speed is at-tartil. It's faster than the tahqiq. At-tartil. وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. Okay? So if we say, the tahqiq is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. The tartil should be Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. It's a little faster. And then after that we have at-tadweer. It's faster than the tartil. So the tartil, when we should read with the tartil? Salawatul Mafruḍah, the obligatory prayers, Salatul Fajr, Salatul Maghrib, and Salatul Isha. Okay? And also whenever we read in the Quran, we can read with the tartil. Because the point of reading the Quran is the Quran to touch your heart and to change you. Okay? So that's why always when you read the Quran, we should go slowly. And then the third speed is at-tadweer. You say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. It's not too slow, it's not too fast. That's the tadweer. And the tadweer also we can use it for the obligatory salawat, and also because some people that's the way they read. They read a little fast. They cannot read slowly. So you can use the tadweer also in the salat. Al-hadr, we said, which is the very fast qira'ah of very fast speed, but with the ahkam. Al-hadr, okay, the fourth one. So you go so fast, but applying the ahkam on the letters and giving them their rights. Okay, and the hadr we can use it for Salatul Taraweeh, Salatul Qiyam. Let's say we applying or practicing the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad reading Surah Al-A'raf and Salatul Al-Maghrib. So we should read Al-Hadr. We don't make the salat too long for people. And also if we're reading Surah Al-Insan and Surah Al-Sajda and Salatul Fajr Yawm Al-Jumu'ah, we should do Al-Hadr. And also even when we are reciting the Quran in general, let's say it's Ramadan and we want to do 2 to 3 khatamat, or I'm doing my daily muraja'a. Some people, they do it like after Fajr every day, 5 pages. So you can do it with the hadr, as long as you are given the qira'ah, its ahkam. No problem. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Okay? لا أقسم بيوم القيامة ولا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة أيحسب الإنسان أن لن نجمع عظامه بلى قادرين على أن نسوي بنانه. Notice I didn't say بلى قادرين على أن نسوي quickly. No, I'm going quickly or I'm going so fast, but at the same time I'm applying the ahkam of the tajweed. Okay, so these are maratibul qira'ah, and we have to pay attention to them when we are reading the Quran. And very importantly, always we should use the tartil, the very not very slow, the slow recitation. That's inshallah, you're going to be able to pronounce all of the letters correctly with the ahkam. Okay? And then inshallah. No.
I want to know what the third one
The third one, at-tadweer. At-tadweer. Okay? Which is in between. It's not too fast and it's not too slow. You're going in between. So you're doing maybe 40 miles per hour. Okay? In between. You're not doing 60 to 70. You're in between. Okay? So these are maratib al-qira'ah.
When we use that at the Tajweed.
At-tadweer, you can use it for the salat. You can use it for the for your recitation. But you cannot read it for you cannot use it for teaching people because it's a little fast. Although it's in between, it's not too fast, not too slow, but it's still fast for someone who's learning. Okay? It's not fast for someone who already knows the Quran just listening to you. But someone who's learning from you, that's too fast for him. So you have to go so slowly so people can take from you and learn what you are saying and how you're pronouncing the letters correctly. Okay? Uh-huh. The fourth one, al-hadr. Al-hadr. Ha, dal, ra. Uh-huh.
About reading the Quran in the Jahar Salat or the Sirr Salat. So there's a difference on these maratib?
In the Salatul Siriyah, we should read it the same way. Okay, but it's not out loud. So Salatul Asr. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Because you're not reading out loud, the way you pronounce the ahkam is not going to be the same. Okay? Because when you go louder, so now we have to do more effort to apply more ahkam. But when you're reading very, lower, so you don't have, it's because you only hearing yourself. So, how to say it? You kind of feeling the ahkam, not hearing it, because it's too low. Okay, but when you are reading louder, you have to make people hear it, make yourself hear the ahkam. So in the Salatul Sirriya, we should not say, because the Salatul Sirriya, we read in secretly, so we can read just Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. No. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Inshallah. Okay? In the next class, inshallah, we're going to talk about al-isti'adha in al-basmala. When you read in the Quran, how to read the isti'adha, how to read the basmala with the beginning of the surah. Can you read them all together? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله. Or you can cut it saying أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم. Or you can do the isti'adha and the basmala together and then cut the beginning of the surah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قاف والقرآن المجيد. That's what we're going to be talking about next week, inshallah. Okay? And then we're going to go to the real tajweed. Because up until now, we're still doing introduction. It's easy to understand. So inshallah, after Babul Isti'adha wal Basmala, we're going to go to Ahkam al-Nun al-Sakinati wa tanween. And this way, we officially have started learning the tajweed, the ahkam, the rules, how to treat the letters, how to pronounce it, how to say this, how to say that. Okay? But up until now, and then also even next week, we're still doing introduction to the tajweed. Okay? But later on, inshallah, after that class, we're going to go to Ahkam al-Nun al-Sakinah, to Ahkam al-Mim al-Sakinah, wa tanween, al-Mudud, al-Ghunna. Okay? And all of these things that are important in the recitation of the Quran. Makharij al-Huruf also, Sifat al-Huruf. That's a very important topic. And the scholars of the past in the tajweed, when they do the tajweed, they first teach Makharij al-Huruf. The first thing, Makharij al-Huruf. I may do this. We may just go to Babu Makharij al-Huruf and then we go back to Ahkam al-Nun al-Sakinah and Tanween, because a lot of people do not know how to pronounce the letters correctly. So we have to introduce the letters. Because now we're talking about the sifat, the attributes, but you don't know how to get the letter out of the makharaj. Because first thing, as we define the tajweed, that the tajweed is to pronounce the letter from its proper source. When you get the letter out of that proper source, then you have to apply the attributes. It's like you open the fridge, you pick maybe chicken breast or whatever, and then you have to use the proper seasoning. Okay? Yes. Take it this way. So that's how the tajweed is. So you get the letter out of the makharaj, and then the season, which is the attributes of the letter. Each letter is different. So if you're doing chicken breast or beef steak, you're going to use different seasoning. If you cooking fish, you're gonna use different seasonings. Just an example. So Tajweed is like this. So if you learn the attributes, they teach you how to do the seasoning. Okay, on what I'm gonna do the seasoning? I have to know. Am I gonna do that with the chicken breast? And I have to know properly how to take the chicken breast out and to cut it and to clean it. You gotta get it ready before applying the seasoning on it, right? So before applying the spices on it. So same thing with that Tajweed. So inshallah we'll do this. That we learn the makharij al-huruf first, and how to say the letters correctly. Ha, kha, dal, al-dad, al-dha. And believe me, makharij al-huruf, not only non-Arabs have a problem with it, even Arabs.
Most of them have no Arabs, you know.
Even Arabs have a problem with the makharij al-huruf. They pronounce letters incorrectly. Okay? So you go to a lot of Arab countries, the tha is sa, always they pronounce it as sa. Or they pronounce it as ta. They don't say thumma, they say tumma. And you go to some countries, the dha, they change it to dad. They don't say al-dhalimi, they say al-dhalimi. And there are native speakers in Arabic. That's incorrect. You can say that in your language, in your dialect, but not in the Quran. Because the Quran is different. It's not a street talk. It's not, it's the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to respect the rules and to pronounce the letters correctly. And also you have some people maybe changing the jim to ga. And a lot of mistakes that native speakers make. Even English, same thing. You have people, not pronounce the letters properly or not speaking proper English. But when you are giving a speech or whatever, or you're teaching people English, you have to teach them the formal English, a proper way to speak. It's different than the daily speaking, and even the way people pronounce letters is going to be different. So same thing with Arabic. So when we say makharij al-huruf, that doesn't mean it's only for non-Arabs. Even Arabs need to learn this, because a lot of people pronounce the letters incorrectly, and when they read the Quran, it's terrible. The way it sounds is very, very terrible. We can't say insulted because they're not doing this on purpose, because they don't know. But it sounds terrible. Like you have someone changing the qaf to ghayn. غُلْ أَعُوذُ. It's قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. They say غُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Look how it sounds terrible. So, and this person is a native speaker. So such persons still need to learn makharij al-huruf, how to pronounce the qaf correctly, and how to pronounce the dal, not za. Okay, so inshallah we'll do that. We're going to learn how to pronounce the letters correctly, and then after learning that, inshallah, we will learn sifat al-huruf. So we know how to say the ha. Okay, what attributes that the ha has? That we're going to learn next. Okay, we're going to say dad. We pronounce it correctly. What sifat it has? Because you can pronounce it correctly from the right source, but you're not giving it the exact attributes that it has. You can say da. Say da. It's kind of right. Sahih. But you're not given the proper sifat. You say da with the tafkhim, with the isti'la. We're going to learn all of that. What is tafkhim, what is isti'la, and all of that, inshallah. So the letter could be pronounced correctly from its right source, but the sifat, the attributes are not correct. So inshallah we will do that, learning the makharij first and then the sifat, and then inshallah we can go back to ahkam al-nun sakinati wa tajweed and other ahkam of the tajweed, inshallah. Very importantly, because even if you're not making the ghunna, let's say someone is pronouncing the letters correctly, he has the sifat correctly, but he's not making the ghunna and he's not making the mad. His recitation is better than someone who is applying the mad and applying the ghunna, but the letters are incorrect. We got that?
It's the foundation.
Yes, so that's the foundation, to say the letter correctly. Ha. Okay? Ha, kha, da, dha. And a lot of, and for non-Arabic speakers, some letters does not exist in the native languages, so it's going to be hard on them, too. So that's why we have to do more effort and more practice, and have to listen. Very important to listen. A lot of people say when they learn in other language, they learn in a very poor way. They don't listen. So you see people like the P, they pronounce it B, they say B-ball. They don't listen. You have to listen. I'll say P is not B. V, they say F, they pronounce it as F. So very, they say ferry. Okay, what is the problem? They don't listen. You have to listen. So same thing, even in Arabic. Don't think because it's not my language, so I'm not going to be able to pronounce it correctly. You just have to listen. When I started learning English, I was in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, we have a very poor system of teaching English. In the public school, it's just, you can finish high school and you do not even know the alphabet. You study for 3 years. You can. I have like classes who finish high school and they don't know the alphabet. They cannot differentiate between V and F. You know. But I started learning, taking like private courses. But I was listening. You have to listen. Okay, it's not B, it's P. How to say that? Just keep listening. Keep listening. You know. Have the Google Translate or whatever. Keep clicking, listening to it 50 times, 100 times, 500 times, 1,000 times. You're gonna get it right. Okay? So same thing in Arabic. Some people say, oh, because I'm not a native speaker, so I cannot say dad. I don't have that in my language. You don't have it, but if you practice, you'll get it. Sheikh Hassan, he's American, right? But mashallah, his dad and qaf and ma, beautiful. He didn't have it in English as his first language, but he, you know, spent more time practicing, trying to learn. Alhamdulillah, he pronounced letters better than Arabs. The way he says, you know, the Quran and the way he reads, mashallah, tabarakallah, is better than some native speakers. Why? Because he paid attention and he practiced more. So nothing is difficult, nothing is impossible. Some people think because I'm not from an Arabic country, I will never learn properly. No, just you have to practice. You have to dedicate time for that. You have to do it, you know, correctly. You have to listen. You know, whenever we talk about the tajweed, it's just about listening. You have to listen. Play the Quran. As you listen to the Quran, pay attention. Listen to how the Shaykh is saying it. You can keep repeating the ayah again and again and again until you get it correctly. Okay? So that's how you learn, inshallah. And as I said, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. But inshallah, if you're working continuously, bi'idhnillah, you're going to get it bi'idhnillah. So that's the end of our lecture for tonight. If we have questions, I can answer them. And then we're good to go for the tilawah, inshallah. No questions?
Questions.
Yes.
So just do a quick on the 4 marat
Uh-huh.
of the Quran.
Uh-huh.
I just want you to go back over.
Okay. A quick review. So we have 4 of them. At-tahqiq, that's the first that's the first martaba, which is you read very, very slowly. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Very slowly. Okay? And then what comes next? At-tartil. You go a little faster. You're reading slowly, but it's not very slowly. Okay? Not very, but it's slow. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman. Notice? It's slow, but it's not very. Okay? And then after that, we use at-tartil always when we read the Quran in general and also in the obligatory prayers. Fajr, Maghrib, and Isha. We use at-tartil because it's slow. It's not very slow, but it's slow and people can enjoy the recitation. We don't read the tahqiq in the salat because people will leave you. In the salat, they will leave. You're not going to read. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman. You know, before you finish the second rak'ah, people are gone. So that tahqiq is only for the ta'lim, for teaching. Okay, when you teach people. At-tartil is good for the salah. It's slow, but it's not very. Okay? And then after that, at-tadweer, which is the tadweer, in summary, is not too fast and it's not too slow. It's in between. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yaw. Notice, you're not too fast, you're not too slow. It's in between. And then after that, the last one, Al-Hadr, which is the fast qira'ah with the ahkam. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Notice, I didn't say ولا الضالين because I'm speeding. No, I still have to give that med its hukum. You have to give the med its, you know, right. So ولا الضالين 6 حركات. Okay, so these are مراتب القراءة. Inshallah. Any other questions? Okay, so we good. Our next class, inshallah, on Sunday for the tafsir, inshallah. Tafsir on Sunday after Salatu al-Maghrib, inshallah. And then next week, Wednesday, we're going to have the tajweed and we talk about al-basmala and al-isti'adha along with the beginning of the surah, how we treat these 3 segments, you know. So when you start in the qira'ah, should you read them all together isti'adha, basmala, and go straight to the beginning of the surah, or you have to cut them. Inshallah, that's our discussion. Next week, Wednesday, inshallah, for class for درس التجويد إن شاء الله. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك فيكم وصلى اللهم وسلم على نبينا محمد.